I'm delighted to welcome everybody to today's reading for Enclave 2, coordinated by Charles Alexander, David Weiss, and me, Kenny Nathanson. The first Enclave series was conceived and curated by Ray Armentrout and Gene Hewing, and we're honored that Tucson gets to carry the water for now. Today is the fourth in our series of 8 weekly readings. Up next are Monica de la Torre, Will Alexander, Alice Notley, and Myung-Mi Kim. Not too shabby. Also, quick sidebar, the New Orleans Poetry Festival is up and running on Zoom with events throughout the month of April. You might want to check that out. It's a terrific pleasure to welcome Edwin Torres as today's reader, and at least virtually to Tucson, where we've been trying to bring the actual hymn to read for a long time now, and we'll still be trying. Torres is a performance poet, or a poet and a performance artist, or maybe sometimes a sound poet or a sound artist, or a graphic designer or a graphic designer poet, or maybe sometimes a concrete poet, and, well, you get the idea, polymathic. His books of poetry include, among others, The Animal's Perception of Earth, Xoeteox, The Infinite Word Object, or maybe that's Xoeteox, The Infinite Word Object, Ameriscopia, Yes Thing, No Thing, and the PoPedology of an Ambient Language. And he's the editor of the intragenre anthology, The Body and Language. Torres has improvised with many artists and performed his multidisciplinary bodylingo poetics worldwide. He's received fellowships from the Foundation for Contemporary Art, NYFA, the Dia Arts Foundation, and the Poetry Fund, among others. His next book, Quanundrum, will appear in fall from Roof Books. To spend time sliding among several of Torres's many books and surf him through internet readings and astonishing performance pieces is, for me anyway, to immerse oneself in a world that's brimming with extraordinary energy across a dizzying array of embodiments and traces, by turns passionate, funny, intense, charming, disturbing, disarming. One wants to call him a force of nature, which doesn't, of course, preclude his being, for sure, a force of culture. Moving from work to work, poetry, graphically intense or otherwise, performance pieces in a startling range of guises, there's a sense of metamorphic energies ceaselessly brimming over, shifting, polyphonic. Which is pretty much also, I think, what the work is characteristically about. Here's the part where I'm supposed to quote from Torres's poems, but since he's such a spectacular reader, the better part of valor is probably to leave that reading to him. I'll move sideways instead and quote just a little bit of Ahem Whitman to try to get at some of what I find most admirable and moving about Edwin's work. Here's the beginning of section 5 of Song of Myself. I believe in you, my soul. The other I am must not abase itself to you, and you must not be abased to the other. This isn't too bad. Soul and self, or soul and body maybe, working out how to be on equal footing, but it sounds like the beginning of a disquisition we don't necessarily want to sit still for. But things immediately get slippery, strange, more Torres-like. Loaf with me on the grass, loose the stop from your throat. Not words, not music or rhyme I want, not custom or lecture, not even the best. Only the lull I like, the hum of your valved voice. I mind how we lay in June, such a transparent summer morning. You settled your head athwart my hips and gently turned over upon me and parted the shirt from my bosom bone and plunged your tongue to my bare stripped heart and reached till you felt my beard and reached till you held my feet. This manages to be gorgeous, tender, and not quite parsably kinky hot stuff all at once. We're in a ductal space where a valved voice, throat sounds and not quite words, and lull and hum reshape what a body feels like, labile bodies reshaping voice in turn. It's as if voice and body slide over each other, or into or out of or as each other, a ceaseless mutual transformation. Then things get expansive and no longer quite transitive, no longer clearly X did Y to Z. Swiftly arose and spread around me the peace and joy and knowledge that pass all the art and argument of the earth. I swiftly arose and spread peace and joy around me, or peace and joy spontaneously arose themselves, flowing through me and spreading around me and through and around everything else? Who's zooming who? Why can't the person of great strength lift up their leg, a koan goes? Well, do you move your leg, O consciousness, O decision maker? Or does something move through you, moving you? So that, the koan goes on, there is no place to put this whole body, or your body is so vast, there is no place to put it. As body and sound reshape each other, transformative energies flow through, destabilizing along with much else, supposedly fixed disparities of scale. Bodies and sounds feel like conduits for transformation of the social body, the body politic, and, well, something like a cosmic body. One more thing, it's inevitable and okay that all this sometimes comes a cropper. Whitman's poet body, which wants to take everything in, blending and transforming it, sometimes misfires, encountering too much gritty, recalcitrant stuff. Things, he suggests at one point, thwap against him, and he's stuccoed with quadrupeds and birds all over. Such Roadrunner cartoon moments are also amply registered in Torres's work, typically eliciting the poet's good humor and grace. There's an invitation to freedom here, passionate, funny, and generous, suffused with a maybe unlikely sense of equanimity, deep peace. Please welcome Edwin Torres.
Thank you, Tenny. Whitman, beautiful. I take that to heart. I really appreciate that. Thank you so much. Thank you all for coming. It's so important for us to have a forum, a vessel to kind of continue our connections with. So thank you all for taking time from your lives to sit with all of us here together. So I'm gonna just kind of plow ahead. I don't tend to have much in between poem chatter. We'll just go ahead. This is this first piece is from the upcoming chapbook from Doublecross Press called The Animal's Perception of Earth. And the rest are pretty much unpublished. What I have for you, what arrived for you. To consider Earth as a rival for words to gravitate towards, to settle on timelessly gorgeous derelicts of language, to settle on the flotation devices wrapped around the layered actions that define change. What will our words do to change the Earth? With the places we visit, with our language, with considerations of placing, with how we own our landings? What will the motivation of ending do to change the ending, to land or maybe only arrive? An action of supple ability to the human body, not compliant, not flexible, not allowed until told so. The human mind is a place inside Earth, told to be Earth, to be the human telling the mind to arrive. The human arrival, not pliant until given words to assemble around, to land with gentleness, the force needed for change. To strike familiarity in consideration of placement, of Earth as a place in consideration of alphabet. To allow integers of cryptic consideration their translation, for creatures of cognition to absorb intention. To allow of place the human Earth its roam. For giving place what we do with time inside Earth, to mine through human change the consideration for change. To note how long it takes to set out what words do. To ignite the human out of the human, to arrive as a fuse, to note the implosion of language and how it affects our human mind. To consider the mind as a rival, to allow layered action its depth, complicity to depth. To arrange notions of human complexity as mistake-filled prones. To own our prones to action, to be prone to action and assemble abilities as triggers. To use language that implies friction as a need for change, to know that change is action out of reversal, out of what triggers implosion, to ignite evolution writing in ways that don't arrive easy. Unaccustomed to being caught, the human mind is not Earth, is not alphabet, is not a stranger to words as a place for landing. Unaccustomed to stagnant episodes of hierarchy, the human Earth is not a stranger to evolution. To the redone resonance of false implications, the human Earth in mind, to the mirrored imperfections of the rendered obsolete, the human Earth in mind, to the chosen arrival or disguise of arrival, to the rusted ladder that blends with the wall, to the manufactured escape of the human spirit, the construction of place as consideration for landing, to apprehension as sport for the human mind, to barriers invented unaccustomed to spirit, to words that absorb intention by reframing ability as punctuation liberators, of earth as liberty in face of spirit, to allow human arrival its place by reframing place, to gravitate towards change by reframing change, to set out timelessly the human earth as a mind in consideration of arrival. After imagination of morning, what puts fluid in the tank? After the plunge, we descend to the dive. After the throes of feral exactitude, floods of origin orgate. Pure nymph, chaste offer, pulled down by the offer after imagination of morning. The hand of the divine manicured, tendered down to the spit, to surrender with care what you can't control, to sleep in a darkness, a space between words, a human detritus, strange wilderness of imagination, can go back to its pull so the pure can return. Back to its origin source, back in the organ, river deep, back to growl, back to child, back to the incurable absence of space. Negated once formed of its bloodletting properties, back to the vertigo of lineage, as co-parent of creator, as beginner of plumb line, as diviner of seeking, as malignant episode of becoming, from out of the bothness towards the selfness, where the wild perspectives are. I wonder here about the holistic shiver, the tendered step into the green, that heats throughout our one synthesis, internalized by release. And then of the immortal flower that is not aged, that can never be timed by its mere season. Who is, or animal? Fulfill the ABC, sketching out here in the open wild, the notes taken, refronting word. Let me gain symbology by way of dimension. Let us be the holders that release the grip. Yet, giving of the grip, be worked. Your shoulders in my hand. How deep the expanse of torn skin. How lick the avoidance to get at the wet. What is it to accept approach as pouring, given to hand and one heart in particular, given to days alert for 1,000 seams to re-ravel? To arrange the tellings ahead, the insistence of sight amazes perception. For couplets settling in, a grouping of mornings foretelling each day. What is it to accept pouring as approach? Where does impression embrace origin? Fallacy has no desire for weakness, the call for sense to land. I am looking for articulation in the process, in the exacting of sun's ember, in the refraction of sense shift. I am reaching to see what I can touch. Obsidian overrules. The inversion of want into truth is startling. Would that loss be gifted or welcome? Today, sun's center, aurora's void. A natural spot for warmth. Loss is warmth, pouring. Given to arrangement, mind obscures. Where to let in the rise for refraction? I am looking for refraction. Tell me a story about a frog named Painting and a bird named Painting and how color changes color to the sky. Tell me about the fire that flies across a cloud-cold rain. Talk louder, said my ear to my eye. Tell me about the time I saw you close up and called you moon, and you point above and say, sun, visit me before I'm ready to play, and Painting, bird me out of your way. Tell me about a feather called girl and a girl called hair across the shadow of a day that won't sleep, and how things sound before they grow. Did you know me before you saw me? Did you want the things you knew you couldn't keep? And the color that you grass with, and the light you shed your hair with. Tell me about a girl named Story, and a boy named Story who showed me how to talk inside my story. And the brush you use for fingers, and the tree that calls you mine. Tell me things I know, but tell them how I know you. In the color of I know you, water colored me a bird. And sky is what I bring you, but sky is just a word. Tell me about a yes named no, and a no named why. One day there was a painting, set the ear into the eye. The dentists in Marrakesh collect teeth to tell stories. The more teeth they collect, the more stories they have to tell. Worn-out wooden signs have all manner of gum and teeth drawings and paintings for each dentist. The dentists in Marrakesh are skilled at pulling out molars and wisdom. In tiny cubbyholes along narrow Medina streets, you can glance inside. No waiting room, no receptionist. You walk into the dentist's chair and mirror. Could be a barber, but there is no pole, no scissors. Just knives, pliers, a hand-operated drill, and a smiling dentist waiting for you. Smiling with perfect teeth, not his own. The dentist in Marrakesh will give you a good price for every tooth pulled. It is an honor for them to remove your mouth. The stories in their jars are priceless. My facial, my cellular, my mask. My masks are treaties torn off bodies of interruption, pardon, made from torn off my body's interruption, pardon, my triggeruption. My masks are made from chosen minority, pardon, the majority, pardon, democracy crockpot, pardon, the banana poo-poo, made from your daily walk, order in the next mycelia will throw in diasporic atapunte, pardon, my liminal dap circa 2020, strike that 03 gone, strike gone. I'm a Yoruba-based archaeologist just released for wrong face, wrong time. My face is society's blind spot. Pardon, my blood is pardon, my visit, pardon, my interruption is your day. I'm a lifelong missionary for the not filled in. My masks are made of unseeded skin, bronze from the backwoods of annihilation, pardon, sewn on the sails of the washed away with the inched etymology of centurion ships from galaxies harvested on dreamt of balconies, harboring imagistic leaders, born of singed opportunity, pardon, my opportune poot, pardon, bleed out, bleed out, bleed out. Made to suffocate, my masks breathe around your fleshy parts, the parts you believe in, the parts you feel at night. Got blood on your hands, got red, got hot, got stink on your hands? Order in the next nucleic, will throw in utopic entrails, hypnotized by your own achievements, pardon, your own Lysistrata, lured by fires ravaged on the shores of cloven change. I'm a tesseract for Instagag, just revoided by the white. Order before pandemia will throw in cataclysmic patterns climbed over weather world's ornatoed imperfections. Will throw in breathe that don't. Derelicted class structures now listed. Now you're just listing. Now you're just listing in sufferings as if suffering had something to say. Now you're just listing stories. Now you're just listing for something to hear. Now your torrential gust. Now your ravaged fires. Now your people. Now your mission makes an entrance. Now you have something to get at. Now something comes to you. Now the poem starts. After listing a comparable excuse, after syndrome atones, who were you now? In the beginning of the side-by-side tectonic, after Bestilian myth, before your wrecked incarceration of the body, of the fearsome apology you always wanted, strike that I always wanted, for you to be in it. Now you're in it. Who were you to more sequential carnivory pure transparence? Pardon. Are we done with pardon? Now you cannibalize the language for entry. What happens to the giver once the comfort of the giving is gone? What happens to the wrenched apart apathy once now is gone? What happens to parabola from the mighty almighty eluded, the summoned totems, the shoulders I stand on, the hands holding me steady, the appearance of my shakable foundation in this mask, thread, count, occlusion. Order now and your listening will root foundation, formation, interstitial tendril for summation. Those shunned words, be shunned, the steady shunned affirmation of where landing gives me lead. Lodestar, knifed effervescential logarithm. These masks I make are 100% star fields, constructed of interruption. 100% interruption, my star field intelligence, my doing with interruption every day. I am interrupted from morality every day. In the field of my listening, now you're listening, now your ancestors, now you're my ancestors. Palms out, palms burned, bruised over landing what we walk on every our blind spots shined brighter, our fingers brighter, our glass dulls ancestry, obliterates the handheld galaxies we offer our lives to in patterns of synchronous Ecology. 100% synchronicity. My masks are made of, in the next 60 lines, look, in the next 59, I'm listening, answer me, I'm listening, I list, a list of asynchronous mistakes, instinctual extapedipant. Sound out the chorus of your misspelling. Extemporis impulvant. Sound out your mistaken purification, molded over my cycle's interference. Fostered interference. Adopted traumas are my location. These masks are made of location, my location, where you were, where I was, where we met, by gene pools, by carbon flirtation, by imprint, my mayhem, my filtered upbringing, rerouted by something you can wear around your head. The viva you live, something that wears you back, that feels you back around your parts, the lala you get. Did you know a body locates interruption to feel its recording? Check out my feel recording. With this mask, echo that spirit, that spill recording, with 100% orality. Order now, time is running. There are 2 minutes left to this mold-inducing lysergic diaspic. My masks are new life for the unencumbered. Decumber your expectancy. Order 1,100 at a time. I am not only a customer, I am Yoruba-based Latinxtancy. Hawking my vibe on the side of a road of your choice, newly released from itinerant robes. Ethnic obliteration is my karma today. My masks are made from books I'll never be, poems I haven't written, sewn with inherited threads, perceptual affirmations for paralyses I've never breathed, diseases I've never had, people I've never killed by breathing on them. Pardon my breath, my never breathed. Have I ever breathed? Off topic. Look, listen. Minds are the ones to get. Minds are the ones to order, made from the poet gaze. A Rorschach for inclusivity. See me, through it, see you. Code switch, easily canonized. Did I say how they fit around the tongue? How they strap across faith and lesion? How hypocrisy is a weighted fissure? Looking for purity? Here, insert a sin you believe in. Here at the tip of their ear holes, here, listen, sapped of nowhere, the listen is godless. Insert a victim you follow. Here, I am letting you go. Order now before we're both. I've just seen ahead of what's holding me back. You. Before you're gone, holding me back. You. What I share with my mask is what I'm looking for. You. The troubled eclipse of my fortitude. Unraveling here in my mask. Does that perplexity for a cosmic ever-field count as wisdom or sanity? Look, those that will be quick to call me done are embattled by insight. My insight can now be rendered, be ordered, be yours. In the next 8 lines, I am a Yoruba-based paleo spirit. I graduated from blooded apparitions. In the next 6 lines, my masks are made of chasms, indifferent to perception. My heart interrupts. My body's insistent approval. Time is running. You, phantasm, here, bloomed by desperation, our layered ambivalence, systemic in the seams of my mask, row upon row, where I don't know what I'm finding, but what I'm looking for. This music is by Stephen Vatiello, and I'm playing another piece by him later on also. We've been collaborating, and this is pieces from collaboration. This is called Blue Wheel Rondo. I let my blue wheels lift life. Come down the mountain, come down the mountain. I let my blue wheels gift light. Turn down the mouth, turn down the mouth. I gave my blue wheels the gift of sight. Let down the hum, let down the hum. I gave my blue wheels the lift of night. Lay low, lay lower, lay lowest and low. I saved my blue wheels a game of rain. Come run the rounding, come run the rounding. I thought my blue wheels would want what I want, what I want, what I want, what I want, what I want. I gave my blue wheels a gift of life. Turn run the byway, turn run the byway. I let my blue wheels assist strife. Stay down, stay down. I made my blue wheels ashamed by shouting run, 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 run. I set my blue wheels to still and jet, come here, come here. I felt my blue wheels kick, kick, not yet, not yet, not yet, not yet. I let my blue wheels hate, hate. We were always late, we were always late. I gave my blue wheels a cradle to raid. Now spill the mouth, now spill the mouth. I left my blue wheels a turn to rule. Go mule the bed, go mule the bed. I close my blue wheels, my faster time, the timer, don't time the timer. I backed my blue wheels a turn of tirades, ups a daisy, ups a daisy. I rolled my blue wheels the run they want to let down your money, man, let it down. I said my blue wheels would rise, rise, wrong, wrong, I was wrong, wrong. I thought my blue wheels could save the ocean, metal, 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 metal. I gave my blue wheels the rest they needed. Now spill the rounding, now run the mouth. I told my blue wheels to wait, break, break. In a recurring artist party, I ask if his art is on sale. His dreads grow longer as he smiles and says, "Which one?" I left the party but came back to answer. It's a tree with little speakers on it, titled What You Can't Have. Everyone wants that one, he says. I have it in orange or brown. The next night it happens again. His head is shaved again. No one has asked him yet. Show me where, he says. I look for the sculpture, but it's a drawing now, with too many people in the way. That one, I think, but I've lost him in the crowd. The next night, he's wearing a sign with words I can't read. Are you selling art? I ask. Read the sign, he says. I leave the party but come back. Hardly anyone is left and the music is loud. I don't want your sign, I want your art. If I could turn, I would show you, he says. The next night, I can't see his face underneath his hair. It's like this at the start, he says. I'd like to know something, I say. But a wave of people take him away. I leave and someone says, this one is my favorite. I try to come back, but I can't enter. His hair has filled the room, and no one can move. The next night, I'm distracted, but congratulate him again. He strokes his goatee and shakes my hand. Are you selling your art? I ask. He smiles and turns the music up. Which one? He points. The one I can't have, I say, trying to outsmart him. Better if you leave now, he says. To the positive motivating force within my life. Saturday I run the world, Sunday I'm free. Saturday is for the world, Sunday is for me. Saturday I take control, Sunday's for me. Saturday I save the world, Sunday I'm free. From the species and density of the threshold, if the sum of my parts, if elastic withdrawal, if lunar consistency, if relevant gash were not mine, not yours, of tongue, a throat, a body, if touch to miss, if contact, if on your if neck were not mine, not yours, a tongue, a throat, a body, if the animal meant of us we are is meant we're here to be, as my heart explodes to be with tree, as my telling ages the free, Zen master starts a class. As quantum and erasure digging into the pointing of the fullness, roosting of the fullness, wrecked in company of the fullness, gallivorsed by stitch of fullness, then by the once of full, of oldness, required of oldness, reality of oldness, licked of tapestry. When do I stop repeating the selves I am to find the ones I'll be? Not mine, not yours. No man I know of, no light, no color. I am my skin's instant color, encounters a species intervention. How white do you feel now, says the hybrid at the march? The only color I don't see is mine, says the finish line. Not mine. Lack of lightness is my notness, given privilege to mount privilege over blood, no corpse, no hustle. Note, all color is full void, not lack of, but all. There is no density in the fullness of being, no easy out to the escape of what you lack, the full void. There is no depth to a sheen bouncing years off oppression, melanin obsession, not mine. As the cosmos unveils from my skin, Zen master says, master say. Super messy, supremacy, supra to see. Galactic acapella enclosures, thievery for stolen eclipse, solstice for the cultured hedon apologist. Idealistic captations reassemble our angelic intelligence. We, to get somewhere. Haven't you ever got some here and wondered, where? Allow us to dazzle ourselves in culture, knife the effervescent witchery, grasped in oldness, pointed oldness. What if we were raised to cultivate fullness? What if, patina relent, telepathic obsidian, we were born intact? Everything would have nowhere to go. What if someone had told us of consciousness liberators? We would arrive fully formed. If all the chaos had evened out over a schism, we would never fall. And what a short journey that would be. What is the threshold for the ravine? What is distraction to the obstacle, the hand untouched, my longing for caress? What is the purge for dynamic size, the one we are, not mine? What is it to be with earth, for the flower? What is the morning's ritual for the raven? What is failure for the acrobat? What did you receive at the center of nowhere, in the middle of everywhere? World matter poet, environment sawdust. To form mouthful relationships with your somatic daydream, invent new ways of being yourself. What curves on the way to touch? Even under all this clothing, between teeth and tongue, it's all touch. What distance for the untellable here? There is no place that sees you born intact. What grieves us for the simplest form? A tongue, a throat, a body? What longs to merge for the flower's existence is chaos. Chaos is a flower. To the misspelling of the untellable, it is the broken that rise, unspeakably praised by everything, to be heard in chaos, even under all this earth. To have lived the energy of earth and accept its power, to be heard, to be partner to chaos and not worry of seduction, to have given in to want in suspending absolution of the present, full of life, of oldness, now if, now some, now mine, remove letters as a consonant, speak consonant. Speak fully removed, each breath, syllable lack, now evaporator of existence, Now many, now little, now to the late millennial something as a forever. Emerging mirror, to exact breath on a mirror, I'm here for you. Irreducible, untellable, myself. Might we ignite full sensorial rebirth into allness to accept finally the world we've made as the one we partner with? Might patterns pulse repulsings, our pattern, so as to enter knowing grand spaces like we, from inside we, the air falling, so as to meet with fullness the toes we partner with. When we say something, we are dressed with knowing, each syllable a world unto itself. What did you receive from the universe when you saved the spider in the middle of blank? Insert your city here, your knowing here, your pattern. What are the patterns to enter reduced from knowing? Difference creates desire. Man is different than me. I am none that I know of. A garment disillusioned by congregation. Poem muscle, work your body muscle. I am a social afterthought, with a tongue, a throat, a body. Abyss altered, desecration, human become of being, poet I am under pre-human, among other names. I am none that I know of. Still, I find the open wound to work from. Fracture feeds my right, in patterns of irreducible fright, engaged with breathing. There's breathing all around me. I can't escape from breathing. I can't escape from hearing about breathing. All around me, I hear whether people can or can't breathe. The oceanic surrender of a mutual drowning. A surface glimmer I gargle with. What plagues the beginning of an envisioning is a lack of vocabulary. To invent imagination requires nothing. There is no environment. We are environment. The world continues the world. What changes, not world, is not we, are the ones to change. What plagues the beginning of change is the target, not the message. Blessed relent, born patina. If the sum of my parts were mine, not yours, note being corpuscle tree, note being. For leave us unsettling, save us unsettling, trail us untellable tales of our settling, fail us bellowing, harrowed and hailed by our failure to follow us, follow the fellow us, trailed in the full of us, fallible follows that see how we orbit our leave to be full of us. Healed in the hollow, we steal what becomes of us, saved what we made of us, sorrowed the soil we surround our unsettling, leave us unsettling, save us unsettling, trail us untellable tales of our settling, fragile ascensions of Mayfair and water by, rain thou sun daughter by. Pain low some flutter, why fi mortal loner, me lower my lower I called out of I. Will see to woe, was a fellow to follow I, trailed by the follow I, soloed the sorrow, to heal what I borrowed I, came to my sorrow by healing the hollow I. This is called I Speak Lyric Shit. Music by Stephen Battiello. Let's say this dimension right here on this sky under skin would be the misspelled in between that engages muscle memory, my mobile understandings for deep us, for the think factories in my country, assembling what I speak, what I read a few pages from now. Let's say our means of access, what it is we have to say, with what it is we are, engages a few pages from now as human mouth. Argument as party argument, opening, transformatur, speaks my translation between many kinds of mind. How can we nurture communication with mobile idity? The strongest implosion we can be survives the most adaptable, edible, habitable, subtext, reflect of surtext, earthis. Define what it is we see and want to see, both here and mouth. Action. What is the misheard apropos deluxe figure formed here of enchanters' arousal, chatters' Upanishad? And there, the superficial afternow that speaks for me, to slit defiance. And here, in my direction across my blades, what speaks for me? What would I wear to interword the malaprop? And there, to position myself at the edge of geometrics, recreating medically the someone who doesn't speak but is mouth. The underwrong of the first hearing or reading is that we step into I speak knowing that before we acknowledge mistake, we live them. And what if unknowing super gitch? If there is mistake in our everything, it is all we are. And what if what you saw in me was what you saw in you? It is all we are to interpret. To the matter, the mantle, the mind, it is all we are. And if it is only in mistakes I am formed, let me, in my mistaken form, be the creature I was meant to be. Here, a statement from ear to coastal cortex, a building, a people, a misunderstanding will last longer than concrete, maker under mouth. How many misheards become the reason we cross over each other? Allowing misdirection of nations to claim one misunder nation. How glorious is it really to misinterpret the deepest desires of misplacement, of trailing off into a certain lift by allowing flight a certain field, of standing under, how those who see field are the ones who belongs chatter, racked, cracked, how those who live field are the ones who are now. Here we are. Weapons of misunderstanding. Unfolding familiar hearing. Your meaning. Facing a direction you never meant to face. And here you are, exist between you and the areas you flatten, literally. How exact to materialize excess? And here you ask, when do you announce your foldings as the meaning you were never intending to own? And here, facing your own branding with a truce on your frame, here you are skinny, here you are size. Here you are the one wearing you. Here. The interword enchanter, with no nation in your mouth. Let's say the global interaction of your grace is one question. How loved is the conviction of the mission you announce? The clarity of the things that shape you, the altar of your sheep, the portal that inspires you so deeply that there's a need to shape a platform and perform it for the world to see. Can you give yourself maybe even a page if that skin be too raw? Misspell the emotions so we maybe even don't get hurt when we can't pronounce what it is we're trying to. And how vulnerable is your misspelling these days in this time of mouth? Such molten definitions for the endearments we wield, like so much empathy we listen to, such desire gobbed and smacked by the tools we shape, our wrapped presentations of the creases we inhabit. There is so much ability for the interweavery of selves, those long imperfections we step on, to announce our arrival, character traits we choose to broadcast. How we travel by wearing threads loosened by homelands we've never endured. Through the extensions we know we need to survive now. Finally, how everyone gone has titled your weave with waves that bring comfort, not difference. How many faraway homes do you put on? Do you wear on your mispronunciation? How tasty the tongue of your freedom on your the entered borders, the anthem knockoffs on that soul of yours. You isn't nice in your is. The many distant endings you survive with your broken tongue. How patterns in the color of skin are not lyric, but or is it mouth that interferes? Just hear me in something I can wear. This last piece is called Encima, en Forma. Lost inside the code of my bringing to you the new bring, let me find in you my frame, my zoom, my screen, be the one you see. And how do I see myself in you? Ot bio bodai, fractured impasse, tells me to find new ways of knowing will make new ways of being. The mistakes I live by, make them the instinct. bio double by, find the analyzed leaving to other finding, to begin bring as possible not. I want to find where I let myself listen to people thinking they know me, to charge physical, the emotional opportunity for think again culture. Spending 2 hours on a lecture I didn't know I needed. Was I looking to let the healing become the healer? Did I want new language for migration when I can barely speak myself? Is it possible to hear what your raw needs are saying if I can't find my own? Etc. Thoughts for decalcified era in my pocket, my you pants that you can't see. Through being clever, what is it you're saying? And can you say it close to my ear? Not some distant landmark like my heart. Autobot bit. I want to intertwine eras, but don't we all do that every day? The human act of being is a sharing through of millennia. Exhausting to consider the travel of our many parts. Invigorating to travel. I'm here. Information as mode. Added layers of insurrection as you come across my life in which I am linguistic corpus, listening for next. We introduce ourselves as stolen appointments for an afternoon, that we had no hand in this theft, that we honor the depths of this depth, that we honor the time you've chosen to join. We acknowledge stolen land with every price we pay. Please, what you can. It's so easy, like various forms of mutual aid morphed into writing exponentially. We are all poets, algorithmic text gods. Life can be looked at differently in the current moment. What ways of happening are currently questioned? Questioning what question does to happening. There are so many ways to cover the landslide, the mud banks of our spillage. So many ways to uncover the context zine. I'm trying instead to see how to offer doorstops. Don't figure this out. It's the porosity of what we are, recased as body skin. What are the traffic signs I'm giving you? What are the colors you need to know you're not lost? How many ways of lost do you let in? Whose job is it to give you direction? How many ways of being let in before you find yourself lost? No mystery in this language, is there? How many ways of getting born do you want? Because obviously, you're my best friend. All of you, who I don't see, who I post for. You are all my best and only friend. What do you think of my sweater? The picture of the shadow I lost. If I share too much, I only want to know too much. If I miss your touch, I only want to know that you miss mine. And I don't know how to stop sometimes, so I'll get closer to the camera here. Maybe closer to something you can't see. Blurred, too close. My taut lengthening, what I imagine might belong to us. I once wanted too much and gave it away. Now I have you to create hope in the imaginary. The future now of what we've become. To create worlds that bring to life the can be. To create words that bring to life. To bring before life.